Danielle, good to see you. So just before we start today, would you just like to introduce yourself and tell us your official title here at Strand?
Yeah, thank you very much, Niall. So my name is Danielle Armstrong, and my title here at Stranmillis is Student Engagement Coordinator.
Lovely, lovely. So before we kind of talk about the details of your job, how did you get into this line of work? What made you want to work with young adults then?
I guess for me, actually going back in time when I was at university, I wanted to be a speech therapist. That was my goal. And after 1 week of being there, I realised that was not what I wanted to do. And really randomly got offered a counselling module in my degree, and which I had to do obviously, and that was when I discovered counselling, and that's when I discovered that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to counsel, and more so with children and young people, because I think that early intervention is really important. So I completed university, I completed my postgrad after that, I have my diploma, and I kept working towards that. So when we had to get placements, I went into primary schools and secondary schools and like Childline and local counselling providers, and I realised that was definitely what I was passionate about. So I guess for me, I do believe that what you experience as a child or a young adult will have a major impact on your life if you don't deal with it. So that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to give those children and young people that safe space to come in and feel like they could open up to whatever was going on in their life. Not necessarily talking, but using all means, including like art and maybe some Play-Dohs and things like that, so that they had that safe space to talk. And down the line then I got into training, and I got into working with small groups of young adults, helping them to, I suppose, recognise their potential and recognise that maybe things that have happened in their past does not need to shape their future. And that, I guess, is how I got into this role, is helping young adults reach their potential and see that they have a lot to give in life.
Absolutely, that's great, that's fantastic, thank you so much. So kind of moving on from there, you told us that your official title is Strand Support Worker. It's not. What is your official title?
I guess Student Engagement Coordinator.
Student Engagement Coordinator. So what does that actually entail, and what does that mean, and what is your job here? What's your role here for students?
So I started at Stranmillis last November, and my job was, I guess, created off the back of COVID. Because the recognition was there that, you know, our first year students in particular, they didn't have those normal years doing their A-levels. They didn't have the opportunity to go to school and finish their last 2 years and do their A-levels and sit exams. So this post was created to help first years, I suppose initially, into university life, to help them settle in, to help them understand what university life would be like, both academically and also in terms of their mental health. Since then, I have worked very closely with the students as much as possible, and also the staff, to put together a suite of workshops, training and information sessions on a range of different topics. So we've done a whole load of things like first aid, we've done food hygiene, we've done fitness instructor courses, but we've also done things that like stress management, anxiety awareness, we've done a suicide awareness conference. We've done quite a lot to give our students the opportunity to come and talk about their mental health if that is what they need to do.
That's great, that's great. So as you said there now, you've spent a lot of time working with young adults and then as well as young people in your life. What have you found has been the recurring things that people our age and people younger have been dealing with and grappling with, especially over the last few years?
Yeah, I think, you know, this can vary depending on that person, but I think given the situation that the world has been in over the last few years, I think the issue of isolation has been really a big thing, and the fear of going out into crowds and the fear of talking to people that they don't know, it is very, it's massive now, And a lot of young people have that fear of, but what if I go and speak to them and they don't want to talk to me and I'll get embarrassed? So there's feelings around that. I think another thing is young people now have a degree of perfectionism. They always want to do their best, 100% in everything, and if they don't get that, it's a real struggle for them. Why did I not do that? They instantly feel like a failure, and they instantly feel like they can't go on and achieve good things because they haven't got 100%, which is not true at all. I mean, we're all not perfect in any way, and we can never always get 100% in everything, because to do that, that's a lot of pressure on ourselves. And it's about recognising and being resilient. If you don't get that 100%, what can you do? But it's not about beating yourself up about that too. I also think that young adults now find it difficult to talk. They find it really difficult to open up about what they're feeling, and they do keep everything inside. And that is something that we want to work on. We want our students here, particularly at Stranmillis, to know that if they're feeling a certain way, they can talk about it. We will always be here to listen. And Absolutely. If you start off talking to your friends about something, but you then know you need extra support, that support is here in the form of myself, of Patricia Smith, of our counselling provider, which is Inspire. If you need that, you can reach out to us, and that is not a problem. We will always be here for you, but do not keep things inside, because I think it just ends up things feeling worse and you don't know where to start, and we don't want that to happen.
So that was great, thank you so much. When you're talking about reaching out for support, why is it important that we have people around us that we can talk to, either professionally, as you said there now, we have so many mechanisms within Strand. Why is it important if you are struggling to reach out to them, or why is it important that you have your friends to talk about these big things and how you feel?
I think, we are only one person, and we can only deal with certain things. Something that I like to describe is, if you see yourself as a bucket, an empty bucket, and everything that happens in your life, it fills up and it fills up and it fills up. And when it gets to the top, the only way out really is for it to spill out, and how that spills out can have a major impact on your life. So what I always say is, by reaching out and getting the support that you need, it's almost like attaching a little valve to that bucket and slowly letting things out. So you then instantly go, oh, okay, I can breathe now. That weight's off me. And each time you let a little bit of that out, you're emptying that bucket, and you're starting to realise that by talking and by getting that support, you can start to feel better. You do not need to go through your life feeling low, or if you're feeling depressed or anxious or stressed, you do not need to feel like that. There are people out there who can help you, and we want you to reach out. And we know that's scary. We know that that's a really big step to take, but you're never alone here. And if you feel the need to do that, you can do that in whatever way is easier for you. So whether that's picking up the telephone, whether that's going on our Strand Support Instagram page, whether that's sending an email, that is totally up to you. But do not stay with all of that building up inside of you, because it will spill out. And how that spills out can be anger, it can be, it can result in you going to the GP because you're just not feeling well, and you actually physically don't know how to get out of bed in the morning. So we want you to reach out before you reach that point.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And there might be a lot of people watching, Danielle, that want to be the supportive friend to their friends who are struggling mentally and just need the support. What advice would you give to them? Because it's a learning curve for all of us. How can they best be there to support their friends?
Yeah, I think the key is listening. It's about just being in a room and just listening. It's not about saying, do this, do that, do the other, or, oh no, you shouldn't feel that way. That's not what it's about. Your friends are coming to you with very valid feelings and very valid experiences. So listen to them and let them vocalise how they're feeling. Let them get these thoughts out, because they're trusting you. And another thing I would say is, have that trust. If they tell you something, make sure that you're not passing that information on to anybody else, because if you break the trust of somebody, that can be really, really difficult. So keep the trust there and let your friend talk to you, and if it becomes the point where you go, do you know something, I want you to still talk to me, but I think maybe you need to go elsewhere now, but I am still with you. So, you know, sit with them when they pick up the phone, sit with them when they send the email, sit with them when they come to visit us in our room if that's what they need to do, and still be there for them afterwards. Still let them come to you just to vocalise how they're feeling, but making sure they have those extra supports. And what I would say is know your boundaries. You know, we can't take on too much because we all have stuff going on in our lives, but know your own boundaries, and when it becomes too much for you, that's when you say, okay, maybe we should get some counselling support now, but I will still be there with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you raised a really good point there. We don't want any of our students to feel alone ever.
No.
In Students' Union, none of the exec, myself especially, we don't want any of our students, our doors are always open. Your door is always open. How does somebody know that, as great as reaching out to your friends are for support and talking to them, how, as great as that is, how do they know when to take the next step if they need professional help?
I mean, I think that's different for everybody. I think for some people, it may get to the point where, you know, just their friends is enough. But if that chat with your friend isn't making you feel any better, and in actual fact you're feeling worse, that's nothing to do with your friend, but you're just not processing what's going on for you properly. I think that's when the time comes where you go, right, I do need to speak to somebody about this, because maybe just chatting to your friend is just hitting the surface and you're not going deeper. So I think when that happens, you go, okay, I'm feeling worse every day. I need to process here. I need to sit in a room with somebody who can ask me the questions I need to be asked, and you know, who can spend that hour with me, helping me to just release, you know, because sometimes with our friends we can hold back slightly. So I think when you reach that point, that's when you go, okay, I need that wee extra bit of support.
Absolutely, that's great. And there might be some students watching, Danielle, who feel the way that you're talking, but given our certain circumstances, given cost of living, given student loan doesn't cover everything, they may be paying for rent, they may be paying for just the lifestyle of a student, and they say therapy sounds great or counselling sounds great, but I can't actually afford that. How much do our services here in Strand cost?
So the services here in Stranraer are completely free to our students. We have a outside contract with a counselling provider called Inspire, and those services are completely free to our students. So if any of our students here feel the need to speak to a counsellor, they can come and speak to us, either myself, Patricia Smith, anyone on the exec, and we can put them in the right direction of that counselling service. So you can either drop into our rooms. Myself and Patricia Smith are on the 3rd floor of Stranraer's house. You can call in there anytime, or you can contact us via our email addresses. So for example, mine is d.armstrong@stranraer.co.uk, or sorry, ac.uk, and Patricia's is p.smith@strand.ac.uk. And our telephone numbers, again, they can be reached on 384-294 for myself, and Patricia is 384-510 for her. And we will put you in contact with Inspire, give you their telephone number, and don't be scared to reach out for that. There will be no cost to you. The counsellor will give you an assessment and identify how many sessions you need. And again, you know, what I would say to you is, if you feel like it's too much of a step to take on your own, ask a friend to do that with you. Another service that we do have here at Stranraer is an app that you can download onto your phone, and that is called the Feeling Good app. This app again has been paid for by Stranraer, so there's no cost to the students for that at all. And you can log on there. There's a lot of recordings that if you're feeling anxious or low in any way, you can listen to the recordings. They're very good at grounding techniques. They're very good at calming your mind. And there are lots of little activities on there too. So that is another thing that you can access for free. We also have the prayer reflection room, which we are in right now, at Stranraer, and that is in Strand House. This is available to our students and staff. They can come in here. We have leaflets on different services that we have. We have books. There's an opportunity to write things down if you're struggling, and just to have that calm space to focus, to calm your mind, to listen to some calm music, put on the oil diffuser and just let your mind be still for a minute, rather than those racing thoughts as well. But all of our support here at Stromulus is free, and we're really hoping that our students, if they need it, will reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we want to say. It's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Reach out. Don't worry about the cost. It's covered.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for talking to me.
No, thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.